Welcome back. So in the previous video, as part of the data validation, it's a real kind of scenario. We discussed about the column comparison with the Pyspark, which is going to done dynamically by using the control data frames and reference data frames as well. So that's what we discussed and uploaded in the previous video. And I will give it just a wrap what we did in the last video. Okay. So basically, I covered the necessary things about the what is meant by control table and reference table and what's the use case in the previous video. So basically, those are nothing but a kind of metadata data frames. There, we define the column type, column names, file path, so that whatever maybe in the future they may be add some other sources or some other file paths as well. The data frames are going to generated dynamically by reading the control data frames. Okay, those are defined in the setup notebook, right? So in the setup notebook, we define the reference data frame and the control data frame, and we are calling over in this notebook, right? So once after calling the reference data frame and the control data frame, this is how the reference data frame looks like, having the source file name, source columns, and source column type at the major columns here. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to iterate this data frame, okay, over the source file name. Firstly, we will filter out according to file name. Why? Because why filtering required means there are different files has been mentioned over here. So we have the orders data frame, and order data frame consists of only columns related to orders data frame only, not related to returns or whatever, any kind of data frame, maybe returns or people's data frame. So we want what we are going to say. So I want the columns for the orders data frame. I want the column from the returns data frame. That can be possible only when you do the filter according to the file name. So once you do the filter according to file name, we will get the source columns respective to the data frame as well as source column type. Okay. So for column comparison, we use the source column only. For the schema comparison, our source column type is the main hero here. This is the control data frame. Looks like, right? It has the file path and the data frame definition inside the function is going to read this file path and create data frame for the respective orders and returns or whatever the respective file name where we post. Okay, this is the function column comparison having the parameters of control data frame and the Spark session, and the RFDF is represent the reference data frame. Okay, so firstly, we will get the file name and file path from the control data frame, and on top of those file name and file path, we are going to create a data frame with the help of the Spark session we define in the setup notebook. So once after the data frame creation has been done properly, then we will get the columns from the data frame and make it everything into a lowercase so that we can eliminate such kind of errors like when the source file consists of column name in a capital letters and a target file name consists of column names in a lowercase. It may cause the code failure. That's why we are converting everything into a lowercase. Why? Because Python's case sensitive, right? Then after we are filtering the reference data frame according to the file name, what we are getting from here. Okay. And after we are getting the columns, with the help of the flat map, we are making into a list and making everything into a lowercase. And then we are calculating the missing columns. Reference data frame minus the data frame columns. Okay. And we are printing out the random stuff for here and there, some of the columns or mismatch and everything like that. So in the schema comparison, we will follow the same approach. We will define one function, let's say schema comparison, okay, and having parameters of control df, sp session, comma rfdf. Okay, that's fine. So we will also do the same thing here. Or the one thing here would be changed is compared to column comparison, the schema comparison. In the column comparison, we target the source column names, okay, from the reference df. Now we are target the source column types from the reference df and matching with the our data frames actual schema. Okay, So firstly, we're going to iterate control data frame. Okay. For row in control df dot collect so that I can convert it into a list. Okay. Now the file name. Okay. Or else we'll do one thing. From this point to this point, everything is same. Okay. It is same only. So that I can copy these statements and paste it in our schema comparison. Cool. Check for inundation if there are any kind of inundations over there. Okay. Shift tab. Now it's cool, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Now we just copied and paste everything from the column comparison. Not everything, up to the data frame creations. Okay. Why? Because it's the same thing. Now, like I said before, we have to filter the reference data frame according to the file name what we are getting from the control data frame.color. Okay. That is also done in the previous one. Like I previously mentioned, right, there is not that much of difference between column comparison and schema comparison. In the column comparison, we target the columns, and in the schema comparison, we will target the source column types from the reference data frame. Fine. Now we will again iterate through this reference filter, and we will get the respective color types. Okay. For x in reference filter dot collect column names equal to x of go back. So x of S or C columns. Paste it. That's good. So now what I'm going to do means, okay, I got the columns. Okay, if I print here, just print it, column names, and I will run this file. I mean, run this function, schema comparison, and I will copy and paste the parameters. It's the same parameter only. Okay. Now run. See, we got the column names. Okay. Now what I am going to do with these column names, I will convert everything into a lowercase. Okay, as we did before. And this, if you observe, these are not the list, right? And we will make them into a list again. Okay. Why I am making list? It's easy to compare the things. Okay, if you keep it in a list. Let's say column names list equal to x dot strip. Strip is nothing but a trim. Okay, I'm trimming any kind of white spaces. Okay. Dot lower, lower for x in column names dot split. If there is a string and you need to convert to a list, so that by using the split you can convert the string into a list easily. Okay. So once after column has been done, control Z, And we forgot to add one more thing here. And we want to get the reference types. The reference types present in which column? SRC column types. Okay. As you can see in the above from the reference data frame. Here, SRC column type. Okay. Not types, it's a type. Sorry. In the same fashion, we will convert the reference types into a list as well. Reference types list. Export strip dot lower for X in reference types dot split. Okay. So now we got the column names and reference types. Let me print this one just for showcase only. Okay. Types list. And again, I'm calling that function. See, these are the reference data frames. Okay. And converted into a list. Each and everything is converted into a list. Okay. Now we got the reference types. What about the actual types? Actual types are nothing but from the data frames, we will apply. Generally, we used to apply data frame the schema, right? So we will follow the same approach. Okay, we will get the schema of the targeted data frames and we are going to compare them. Okay, let's say DFS types equal to DFS dot schema. Now the question is, for all the columns, I need to check the schema, or whatever the file name you are passing for that file name, for that columns only, I mean, for that file name only, I need to check the schema. That's the thing behind. So the answer is, whatever the file name you are passing, for that file name only, you need to check the schema. Okay. So where I am getting the file name? From the control data frame, everything is been defined. Okay. Let's suppose this is the file name. And for that file name, these are the columns. Okay. For the file name, these are the columns. So that what I am going to say, DFS schema of column names dot data type. Again, why dot data type means if we do the schema, we will get like structure type. I mean, structure type, structure field, row ID, integer. Like that, we will get struct type and struct field. Okay, types and fields are there. So I want to eliminate those types and field, and I want only the statement like this one. Okay, like string type come integer type. I want like this only. Okay, by eliminating the struct schema and all. Now this is not also going to be enough, and again I need to convert to the simple string. What this simple string will do, as you can see, the string type is there, right? It will convert to the string, and integer type to the int or integer, whatever. Okay. Why? Because why I'm converting into a simple string again. As you can see in the below output, okay, here the string, int, those are coming from the reference data. If I define like this, string type, integer type, like this, if I define like this in the reference data frame, I'm not going to use any kind of simple string. And I define like this, that's why I'm using the simple string. Okay. Now done. This is also done. And again, I'm converting to a list. Types list equal to x dot strip dot lower for xim dfs types dot split. Okay, that is, now we got the column names as a list, reference types as a list, and data frames as a list. Okay, now I am expecting the output. I want like output like this, like let's say uh, column name provide data frame type, let's say int, reference type as it. I want this kind of output. Okay, for this kind of output I am going to write another a kind of list comparison. Okay, to achieve this kind of output. Okay, and I am name and storing it in a variable called mismatch columns. Okay, so let's give the dummy name. Nothing like x comma y comma z for x comma y comma z uh, in any list. Okay, so now what I am going to do, I am going to create another list comparison by combining these three. What are these three? Column name list, reference type list, and dfs type slips. I am going to combine these type three list. How I am going to combine the different list? By using the zip. Okay, x comma y comma z for x comma y comma z in zip of column name list, reference type list, and dfs type list. Column name df underscore types, ref underscore types for, sorry, again this, for column name comma dfs types comma ref types. Okay, in zip of column names list comma ref types list comma dfs types list. Okay, and I am making one condition like if dfs, I want dfs first. Okay, dfs ref, sorry, ref. Okay, if dfs types list not equal to ref types list. Okay, if dfs type list is not equal to ref type list, and I am writing out the print statement here. Okay, if mismatched columns, and I want to print the statement like uh, schema comparison has been failed or mismatch for this dot format for this file name. Okay, and I want to know which columns has been missing out there. Okay, so I'm going to write this condition like uh, what are those? Again, a print statement, right? Not the print statement. I guess again iteration we need to write. Right. Let's take the for call. Just checking. I'm just thinking of what are the statement I'm going to write. Okay. Again, an iteration, right? For call name, comma df types, comma reference types. Okay. In mismatched columns. Okay. These three are defined in mismatched columns, right? Then I'm going to say the print statement like this. print. Let's like this. Column name, call underscore name. Okay, comma. Data frame type, df type. So right, df types. Reference type, reference types. Okay, ref types. Let's check it out. Ref types and df types. Okay, fine. Okay, for the like this we want. Okay, that's why we are writing out there. If everything is okay, I'm going to write the else condition. Else print schema comparison is done and success for dot format file name. Okay, run this code, run this piece of code, and call that function. Let me comment this print statement so that we can see clearly. Run it again. Run again. Okay. So as you can see, schema comparison done successfully for orders data. Schema comparison done successfully for the returns data. It's printing multiple times, right? I reckon maybe we are missing out any kind of print statement. Okay. So we'll put it in a try catch. Wait, what happened? So inundation, right? Okay. Right. Okay. Now write the except block. I mean, except exception as E and print and error occurred. Okay. Convert to string E. Return false. Okay. So run this code and call that function again. So everywhere the schema comparison is done successfully for each and every data frame. So like this, we need to write the schema comparison dynamically. Okay. So that if you pause any kind of file part in the control data frame, it is going to take that one and it is going to compare each and every column. Okay. And each and every column and each and every column type mentioned in the reference data frame. This is how we need to do the schema comparison. And as you can see, we have the multiple statements out there, right? Maybe that is because of here and there we missed out the inundation, or maybe we are printing inside the for, that may be the one of the conditions. Like this multiple statements has been printing. Oh, here. Okay. Oh dear. Fine. I need to come out of this for. Okay. Now if you run again, yeah, see now. Schema comparison done successfully for returns data. Schema comparison done successfully for the orders data. Okay. So what if you give the return false and return true here means in a mismatched columns. If the one column name has been, suppose row ID data type has been mismatched at initially, and if you give the return false here, if you give the return false here, what will happen? It is going to take out the row ID only. It doesn't carry forward the remaining columns. Okay. That's why I'm not keeping the returns true or return false. Okay. I want all the mismatched columns and mismatched types as well. Okay. So this is how we need to do the data validation dynamically. In the previous version, we have seen the column comparison, and in this version, we have seen the schema comparison. Nothing much difference. The only thing here is we need to take the schema for the from the reference data frame and from the original data frame as well. And we return some sort of list comparison, and we are making some sort of print statement and getting the job done. That's what we did here. Okay. That is about the schema comparison. In this way, you can do the duplicates removal dynamically. I mean, drop duplicates is one of the thing it presented here. And we can check like, suppose the data set is there and the data set consists of any kind of column related to the date, maybe an entry date or created date. This sort of column is there. Okay, you can check the column. I mean, you can check the value format. So let's make one assumption like the date format should be year, month, and date in this format, 4 Ys, 2 Ms, and 2Ds, so that you can check the each and every column follow the same pattern or not. Okay, like that we can check. Maybe possibly we'll upload in the next video. So, and we will do one thing. In the next video, we will bring up the slow changing dimension 2, SCD type 2, how we can implement dynamically. I am saying a dynamically or a generic way, you can say. So generically, for the different columns, there are different types of SCDs are presented. So we are going to write a code in a SQL. Possibly we use the SQL Server as a tool. In there, we will write the generic code so that whatever the columns are there, whatever the different SCD columns are there for different tables, it is going to perform the slow changing dimension and implement that logic. Okay, that's it from this video.